almost 3 years, as the Secretary General has just informed us, since we last gathered here at this very same venue and held our last National Delegates Conference. This is through no fault of my own, but as a direct result of devious machinations by those who wanted to falsely and forcefully take over this party. As we meet today, I wish to take this very early opportunity to thank all those loyal party members, the many lawyers and Kenyans of goodwill who have ensured that once again we are able to meet and restart our journey forward again. Asanteni sana. Politics, as we have seen, is about many things. But one thing that cannot be overridden is that politics is first and foremost about the collective will of the people, exercised either by members of the party, like we are here today, or by the citizens of a democratic nation through the ballot box. So it is my hope that from today we shall see the end of machinations and the start of a democratic process, because it is the people who will decide. Sio watu wachache kujifungia pahali ama watumwe na watu wengine, kwa sababu tunajua hata hawa ni kutumwa, walikuwa wametumwa. Ni wananchi, members wa chama ambao watachukua hatua na decision ya kutueleza mwelekeo wa chama utakuwa mgani, sio watu wachache pahali kidogo huko. So 3 years ago, at the end of a hotly contested general election, and amid an atmosphere of hostility, not only to our party, but to myself, members of my family, and members of my administration. But despite that, I stood at this same venue, ready to begin a process that should have been normal in any mature democracy. A process of rejuvenating our party and infusing it with new leadership, a new crop of leaders inspired by a new generation who would craft our party's future as well as our shared vision for our country. After having handed over the reins of state to a new administration in a peaceful and orderly manner, as you all witnessed, I expected the same for our party. Unfortunately, this was not to be, for reasons as explained. Ladies and gentlemen, I have been in active politics for the greater part of my life, 40 years plus. I have seen its good, I have seen its bad, and even its ugly. But at every juncture, I have always tried to do my best in the spirit of service to my party, but most importantly, service to this country that I love. I have both lost elections and won elections, taking each in my stride, learning that in politics, you can never be led by bitterness, anger, or hate. That only deviates you from your mission and vision. Wale wanataka kuendelea na matusi, hiyo ni shauri yao. Huh? Sisi hatuna chuki na mtu, tunapenda nchi yetu. I have had my fair share of successes as well as challenges. But the truth of the matter is that none of this would have been possible if I myself, at an early age, had not been given the opportunity and support to take up various leadership positions in our country. As a party, under my administration, under my leadership, and courtesy of the Kenyan electorate, we have been a governing party for approximately 10 out of our country's 60-odd years of life since independence. Looking back, there are things we can be proud of, and admittedly, there are things that we could also have done better. As a party, we can say with pride that it was our administration that oversaw the implementation of a new constitutional order, and we did so within the stipulated timelines. As a party, we can say that we left behind a more connected country than we found it. We doubled the number of tarred roads, increased electricity connections from 35% of our population that we found to over 70%. We began the process of modifying dilapidated colonial infrastructure with the introduction of the SGR, the development of Lamu Port, the revival of Kisumu Port, amongst many others. In health, our Linda Mama, the removal of maternity fees in our health centers gave and saw great improvement in maternal health and improved child mortality rates. Our management equipment services saw medical equipment such as dialysis machines, scanning machines, laboratories, and other equipment become available to distant corners of our country, with counties like Mandera being able to carry out cesarean sections and other such operations for the first time since independence. In education, we restored the sanctity of our exams. We maintained the free primary education that we inherited from President Kibaki. We expanded the free day secondary education and reduced the burden of healthcare for our parents with the introduction of EduAfia for our students. In security, despite initial challenges, we invested heavily in our infrastructure, security infrastructure. We restructured our security organs and deepened an interagency approach, thereby ensuring that our security agencies were better able to handle both domestic and external threats. This machine that we built, however, was not to be used and designed to face its own citizens, and it is not supposed to have been a source of fear and conflict with our citizens. Ilikuwa ya kulinda wananchi, sio kuumiza wananchi. We worked as a party to bring greater cohesion in our social construct, to reduce ethnic tensions and address both social and regional inequalities. This noble effort, unfortunately, was used against us in the last campaigns, it being called an attempt to erode democracy. I wonder what they call theirs today. I can go on, but that is for another time. Equally, my friends, it is true to say that we also face challenges, key among them being our war against corruption in government that was less than successful. Our intergovernment relations also left much to be desired. A case in point